All right, so apparently, we should be live, even though, yeah. So I've been watching the openings of our streams,
Hmm.
and we go live a lot sooner than I think we do.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, so like all of our streams are me like this. Okay, and we're live. so so I tried to start a little bit earlier this time. I'll check to see how it goes, just to get a sense of what the lead time is on it. But in any case, it's Monday at 9:30 on the East Coast, 6:30 on the West Coast. It's time for your weekly Calamity Jane live stream. James, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Hanging in there, my friend. What do you got in store for us this evening?
Um, you know, in our offline meeting, I was going to talk to you about how I had something laid out to do tonight, but
Mm-hmm.
my schedule got away from me today, so
It
I'm going to change
happens.
it again a little bit. But we could go back to tinsel, but I thought, you know what, we are going to change it up anyway,
Okay.
and so I will share my screen and we'll start doing stuff. But you can talk little bit about this as well, obviously.
Oh, look at Mr. Man.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I love it. Wow. I mean, way more pear shaped than I was expecting for this character.
So I thought you saw the design of the latest iteration of Mayor McFlint.
No, I have not seen the latest iteration of Mayor.
Really?
This is news to me. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. Let's go back in the rewind machine then.
Yeah, let's take a look
Let's
at the iteration, the evolution of Mayor McFlint.
yeah, let's do that. Hang on a second here. I thought I could have swore I showed this to you. Maybe not though.
I
Maybe I
don't I
didn't.
mean if you have, I've forgotten. So
Yeah, but I think it's me. I think I'm the one that forgot to show you. I think more
okay.
than anything, um, because I think I was going through design phase with him during storyboards,
Mhm.
but I may have just overlooked
Well, in the
sending.
storyboards, we don't really see a full body shot of the
Yes,
mayor. So
yes, but to
I mean,
me,
his face seemed familiar to me,
yeah,
but I've not ever seen his full body.
yeah. See now, this did I ever show you this image here?
No, I have no memory of this.
What? Wow. Well, okay. Well, this is actually pretty good. This is actually kind of fun. This could be a fun
Yeah,
stream
I
tonight
mean,
because
me and the audience are learning something tonight.
so these are all iterations of the mirror I've done. I could have sworn we talked about this, and the one and this guy is one we went with. But here we are. I mean, we can talk about it tonight instead and go, well, if you like another design of Mayor, we can do that. Nothing is set in stone.
No, I mean, I'm of these of this lineup, the one that you picked is absolutely the right one.
Really. So you like okay, you like the far left one the best.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think the the overwrought pear shape is phenomenal. And here's what I'm thinking, because the mayor does have a brother. What
Mm-hmm.
if the brother is in sort of a yin yang sort of way, has a really big head and then a small body,
Maybe it's
right?
possible.
You could
That's for
play
another.
with
That's for
that.
another design. That's for another design day. But yes, that's a
Yeah,
great
and
idea.
I don't want to go too much detail about um about like who Mayor McFlint's brother is. But suffice it to say, his this design on the left is so distinct. I think that there's a real opportunity to play with it.
So if you recall in the storyboards, this is the head shape I went with as you saw.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
the hat is great. I love the hat, and the bow tie, of course. And there's just something very appealing about how overly pear he is.
I kind of pushed him quite a bit,
Yeah, I
I have to
agree, and
say.
I think it goes back to our sort of general philosophy of, we haven't hit the limits of what is reasonable within the context of our universe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and this is great. This is a perfect example of it. Now, my question is, um, so below his vest, is that an undershirt or is that exposed belly?
Oh, that's just these are just line work. But yeah, this is all this pant. Imagine this pant is pretty much goes all the way up.
Gotcha.
Like
Okay, great. I love it.
yeah.
Okay, good.
So I mean, I could just add another shirt here under the vest, I guess. But
No, no, no,
what I
no,
what
no.
I
I wanted to make sure what I was getting at is I want to make sure I didn't I don't I want him to feel classy. So
yeah, yeah.
sometimes for really rotund characters, to amp the humor up. Like the shirt
Yeah.
gets raised a little bit, and you see the little bit
Yeah.
of the underbelly.
And
I
you
don't
see
want
a
to
little
do
belly.
that because Mayor is, he's a classy fellow in his mind, right?
Yeah. So I
And
give him a
so,
belly here. It's too
yes,
weird.
right, exactly. Which looks weird. Now it looks weird. Now it doesn't look funny, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's great. I love it. I mean, I love the design of it.
Well, that's so funny that yeah. So that's interesting. I had no idea that it did not show you Mayor this whole time.
Well, I
But
mean, I've
yeah,
seen his
and then
face, so
yeah, yeah.
I knew
But yeah,
exactly
that
who it
was so I was
was.
gonna. So I was gonna, yeah, I was gonna do him tonight,
Okay.
and do a final, well, just do a pass on him, clean him up, and make him look pretty,
Okay.
or mayorly.
Yeah.
Um,
What if? Okay, so we've not seen it. Now, obviously, you're implying that he's got a pocket watch,
yeah.
but hear me out.
Mm-hmm.
What if instead of a pocket watch, it's a pocket lollipop or like a pocket
Oh,
ring pop or something along those lines?
that'd be really funny. We
So
could
he's
do that.
always got a treat, ready to go. And
That's pretty
so,
funny.
you know, when
Um,
he's reaching in for his vest pocket, it's not a watch, it's a little hidden snack that he's got for himself.
I think it's hilarious, actually.
It doesn't have to be a lollipop. It can be anything, but just yeah, it's a treat on a rope kind of thing. Or
okay.
and maybe this is too far. What if like candy on a rope, those candy necklaces?
Uh-huh.
Like
Yeah.
what if that's all candy, like leading from his pocket into his pocket, his button into his pocket. It's one of those
But
candy
so this whole
ropes.
thing is a candy line.
Yeah, you know how you've got those like they've got like the sweet tarts on a rope and you can like just
Yeah.
bite. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what that is there.
That's funny too. I like it.
And
I
then you
think
get a
it's a
little
great
bit of
idea.
flare color, right? So he,
Yeah.
obviously he's wearing a very formal attire as a mayor would wear, but then you get a
Hmm.
little bit of splash of color in the form of the candy rope.
Yeah, that'd be. I think it's great. I think we should run with that. My only question back to you as the writer is we don't have any gags to indicate that persona, aspect of his personality in the first episode.
Which I think is fine. I mean, I don't think that you need to um, have some sort of characterization for every
Hmm.
character in the pilot episode. I think you do it to what is reasonable
Yeah,
and what is necessary. So it would be weird, obviously, if Mitchell and Calamity didn't get a lot of characterization in the first
yeah,
episode. Um, but I think Mayor, he has a relatively small role in the first episode anyway.
hmm,
I think it's fine that we, allude to that potentially, but we don't necessarily go into detail. And the thing is it doesn't all have to be in writing, right? As the animator,
yep,
you could have him just in the background
yep,
munching on his pocket snack.
exactly. And
So
we could have him. Yeah, there's going to be a scene or two where he walks up and he could be, you know, sucking on his lollipop, whatever, walking into the scene. I mean, there's plenty of opportunities for that.
yeah, absolutely.
You could come. I mean, I don't know. This is going a little bit too insane, but I mean, he could have a cane. It's a candy cane. We could really push it he's from like Lollipop Land or something, and he's a lollipop. He was
We're
the ex-lollipop mayor or something. I don't know.
we're yeah. I don't know. I mean, we could try it. There's no harm in
Uh,
trying it.
I don't know. I have plenty of stupid ideas, so it's okay to say that's a really weird, lame, stupid idea.
My
I'm okay with
only concern is like I want him to be taken somewhat seriously.
that.
If we go too far, then he becomes
He's just so ham-fisted.
yeah. I'm
Yeah.
not saying no, but I'm wondering
It's
if like I like the idea that he always has a treat on him, but isn't necessarily like oh I guess my concern is at some point he's just going to become Willy Wonka, and that's what I want to avoid, right?
yeah, yeah. He could definitely become Willy Wonka if I
Because
did
he
that. I
he
mean,
likes his treats, but he's not defined by them in the same way that Willy Wonka is.
yeah. I was gonna say so if I just did this. You know,
I love the
nah,
cane. I mean, I love the idea of a cane. I'm fully endorse giving him a cane. But like, what if instead of the whole thing being a candy cane, the base of it looks like a regular cane, but then the pommel at the top is also a piece of candy. So like it looks like a
so
standard wood cane, but
yeah,
then at the top it could kind of be like one of those. It's like it's a figure of a hard candy wrapped in its little wrapper, right? And that's what he holds on to at the top of his cane, right?
let's see. Let's for fun. Let's play that. So leave that. Okay, actually, I'll start over here. Get rid of all this. All right, so like this. Something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't know. I think it could be funny. I like the idea of sort of hidden candy being
Yeah,
one of his motifs,
yeah, it could be.
right? And maybe even in his cane, he has a little hidden compartment that he can open it up, and he's got little hidden treats there. I'm really going down a rabbit hole now, but what if he like just hides candy everywhere? So, if we have a scene where we're in his office, he's got bowls of candy. And then in the scene, he gets up and he walks over to his bookshelf, and then there's like a little box of candy. And like everywhere he goes, he always has candy at his disposal.
Yeah, I think that'd be funny. That's his addiction, his candy addiction.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I was just thinking about how at Christmas time you always see these candy canes that are around that are
Yeah.
filled with like actual candy inside the plastic
Yeah.
tube.
Yeah. Yeah. I know
And
this.
like there's little dots inside of just tons of candy inside. I mean, it could be that. But we could kind of introduce this later on, like in other episodes. Like it doesn't have to be as obvious in the first episode, like you were saying. We could do some subtle hints to it.
Mm-hmm.
He may
Mm-hmm.
not have his cane in the first episode, but we add it later in like episode 3 or something. He's walking about town with it or something like that. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree. I think, again, you don't have to um, come into this world with everything explained to the audience right away. I mean, I think we should know it
Yeah.
um, as the creators, but I think that it's a fun journey for the audience to learn more about um, the uh, uh, the characters as they watch the show.
hmm In the meantime, what I'll do is I'll keep doing the base design while we kind of let that idea about the candy cane stew a little
Mm-hmm.
bit. Um, but it's funny doing the design for the mayor. A big influence has been uh, the voice actor as well.
Yeah, my
I
friend
thought a
Jay.
lot about
Yeah.
yeah your friend Jay. So I kind of like and all I it's been a while since I saw Jay a while back.
Yeah, it's been a while now. Yeah.
It's been a while. So but his voice so his it's so there's like an abstraction to him a little bit, and all I can really hear is his disembodied voice. So when I'm doing the mayor, I'm actually kind of enjoying that aspect of it a little bit where I hear Jay's voice,
Mm-hmm.
and and I illustrated this design kind of based on his voice a little bit.
Okay. Okay.
Um, so that's kind of part of it too. Let me. Now, I'm not saying it's going to look anything like Jay. I'm just saying
No, this doesn't look anything like Jay.
Yeah, yeah,
But that's okay.
yeah. But that's part of the fun was just designing around the voice that Jay has.
Exactly. I totally agree. I totally agree. Yeah, well, I have to. Jay actually, he's coming into town to visit family in the near future. And maybe when you finish this, if you could email it to me, if I happen to see him, I can show him a picture of it. I think he'll get a
Yeah,
kick out of it.
yeah, I'm sure he will. But he does a great job for the mayor voice. I'm really happy that you
Yeah,
you got him to do
he
it.
brings like a regal element, like not regal, but a I don't know I don't know how to explain it. Like a what's the word? Etiquette, like well-to-do, very learned and proper, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, no, I love the round nose. I love how round the character is in general.
Yeah, it's funny because if you look at the previous designs, like, do I still have it up? I don't think I do. Oh well. Anyway, like I went all over the place. I kind of went with hard edges for some of them. Like he's actually kind of more of a gruff looking mayor in some
Mm-hmm.
of them.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the most friendly out of all the designs for mayor. I thought that seemed to match him the most anyway.
Yeah, I think Mayor is generally friendly. I mean, he's a small town kind of guy, right?
Yeah,
He came to Dry Gulp Gorge because he wanted more of a small town vibe. Um, and there's obviously, I feel like we have to dance around the subject a little bit because we know Mayor's history,
hmm,
but we don't want to like give it all away. We want people to discover it as we produce the episodes.
yeah. Um, but yeah, like a lot of our characters, they do all of them have a backstory for the most part. Unless I mean, sometimes we'd like that alligator character that Croc. What was his name again? Um,
It we never really named him.
oh, we never named. Okay,
No, we
but the
just said
alligator.
he's the croc with the alleys or the croc with the gators, I think.
Yeah,
Because in
yeah,
our world
Croc
they're
with the
not
gator.
crocs, they're alligator.
Yeah,
They're like yeah.
yeah,
But I don't think we ever really gave him a name.
yeah. He was kind of just designed on the fly, just on our stream. Like so
Mm-hmm.
that guy and his story kind of evolved from the stream. But like all of our characters, for the most part, there's a story to them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so and Mayor's no different.
So, but yeah, I think I'm really happy with the direction that you took him. It was a real surprise when you brought up the sketch. I was like, whoa, oh,
Yeah,
that's definitely the mayor, but I've never seen that drawing before.
I'm excited to hear that because I wasn't sure. Like I thought like this. I took it for granted that you saw it the whole time. That's funny.
Yeah, no, it was a real success. So I mean, I think it's a testament to how well you kind of get the character that you and how in sync we are with the characters that you can draw an entire character and I can take one look at it and go, oh, I know who that is without ever having seen it before.
That's that's success, I guess, for us. So that's
Yeah,
good.
for
I'm
sure,
glad.
for sure.
On my artsy fartsy side, I'm happy about that. That means that yay, I feel validation that it works. That design
Validation is
works.
good.
Yeah, but there's something I wanted to talk to you tonight about too, and we didn't get a chance to talk about it offline. I mentioned it to you,
Mm-hmm.
but we didn't get into detail about it. But over the weekend, Meeth and I watched a documentary called Batman and Bill. It's
Oh,
on
okay.
Hulu. It's really good. I have to say, Eric. I think I was going to text you, but I have to say, I give it my highest possible recommendation. You should watch it.
And this is on
You need
Netflix, you said?
on Hulu.
On Hulu. Okay.
Yeah.
And is
Um,
it a docu series or just a single movie?
just a one shot documentary. I mean, there's very few shows where I'll give you the highest possible recommendation, but this one's definitely it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You should definitely, and I know you're not a big fan of documentaries. I mean, from what you've told me before, this one is pretty awesome.
Okay.
Um,
Well, I like Batman, so I assume
okay.
you're talking about Bill Finger.
Yes.
Okay.
Hmm. It's
So,
really. I mean, it's not perfect pacing for a documentary, but the amount of information they talk about and the the, the path they take to get to the end,
mm-hmm.
to where how it wraps up, it's really well done.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, it's done by the documentary is done by a writer. He published a bunch of books on his own. He came across this story, and then it became a passion of his
Mm-hmm.
to learn about Bill Finger and his contribution to Batman. Um, in a nutshell, I don't want to talk about it too much or give it away, but
All
yeah,
right,
it's
all right. That's good to know.
rad.
That's good to know.
Yeah. So just a side note.
So much work going into Mayer's ears.
And no, a little too much. I think I went way too much into his ears to warrant
what?
this, but now that I'm
What?
already in it,
You know
it's
you're
like, okay, I'll
committed.
just commit. Forget it. I'll just do
You
it.
got too involved with the ears, huh?
Yeah, but it's okay. I'll get out of this soon.
Need that little curl of hair around the bottom,
More
or
like a
is
shadow, I
that a
think.
shadow? I see. I
Yeah,
see.
just to help separate the shape of the ear from the self-colored shape of his skin.
I see. So speaking
Yeah.
of movies that I highly recommend, I watched an Indonesian action film
Mm-hmm.
called The Raid this weekend, and it
Yeah.
was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I
You were
had
totally
yeah,
you were totally into it.
yo yeah. I discovered it. I mean, I had known about it for a long time.
Hmm.
Um, never gotten around to seeing it. A lot of movies were inspired by it. John Wick to a certain extent. The Dread remake, in specific, was very heavily influenced by the Raid. And all I like John Wick and Dread. I think they're both really fun. Um, the Raid is a really really awesome action flick. It's a bottle action flick. So people trapped in a building and they have to escape.
So wait, so to pause, you said bottle action figure. That's an actual term? Is
I'm sort of mangling it, but yeah, like a bottle thriller or bottle. The idea is that these characters are trapped in a location and must escape.
okay.
Um, there's a um, there's a book on screenwriting that I love, Save the Cat.
Okay.
And Blake Snyder, who is the author, he changes all of the genres. He decides that the concept of action movies, the concept of drama, they're so generic and ill-descriptive that he actually comes up with a bunch of new um, uh, uh, genre types. Now, for him, what the genre would be called is a dude with the problem genre, and this is
Okay.
a style of movie that that Die Hard fits into, and John Wick fits into. These are basically lone wolf kind of characters who have a singular problem that they must solve. Right.
And it seems like they're the only ones that solve it. As on top of that.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So in any case, I knew of this movie and it fallen into the background of my consciousness. One of those I'll get to it eventually kind of flicks.
Uh-huh.
And then the new Mortal Kombat movie came out, which we talked about.
Hmm.
And one of the stars of the original The Raid, Joe Solemn, was all right, Tulsim. I'm completely mutilating his last name, and I apologize. Um, he he played Sub Zero in the new Mortal Kombat movie.
Okay.
And when I was watching some of the making of featurettes, working on a couple of video documentaries that I do for my paying job,
Hmm.
um, that his name came up and the fact that he was in the Raid, and I'm like, oh right, the Raid. I I need to watch that movie.
So
And
that's how you
so
came across it because of
that's how it brought
Sub
it back
Zero.
up to the forefront of my consciousness. Yeah,
Huh.
yeah. And so Mortal Kombat got me to watch The Raid, which was a far better movie than Mortal
Oh,
Kombat.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Mortal Kombat was okay.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun, but like The Raid is actually like a really excellent movie. I mean, it's really good.
Yeah.
And the fight sequences are just phenomenal. The choreography is just ballet. It's amazing.
So would you consider that in the pantheon of action movies, The Raid being like one of the top
Oh, it's a
tried or
classic.
something?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, it's without a doubt a classic, and I hope like everybody discovers it because it's really really excellent.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. I mean, I want to watch it myself, and just need to find the time to get around to doing it. But it's on my list now.
Yeah,
To
and they did a sequel, which judging from the little that I know about it, kind of suffered the same problem that I had with the John Wick movies. Um, and I liked, to preface this, I liked John Wick 2 and 3, but not nearly as much as the first film.
hmm
Um, and part of that comes from that the first movie had a very, very simple, focused, thoughtful, well, not thoughtful, but um, effective, functional plot. And they kind of hint at a larger world, but don't get the movie doesn't get bogged down in it.
hmm
And so it's very lean, it's fast. There's not really a single scene in the first movie that you could cut or would want to cut.
hmm
And then the second and third movies, while they're still fun, there is so much more story and world building, and exposition is a kind of necessity when it comes to world building,
Yeah.
and it also tends to slow down action movies. And
Yeah.
so while the fight sequences were really great in the second two films, I felt like they dragged a little bit because they needed to start building this world since they were clear that they were going to make more of these. So
Hmm. And now they've only made one sequel so far.
to the Raid, yeah, there's only been one sequel,
Okay.
and it apparently it gets bogged down a little bit in storytelling.
Okay.
Now, apparently the fight sequences are phenomenal, just like the first one.
hmm
But yeah, so I'll get around to seeing it. But yeah, the first one was really excellent.
And the raid takes place on an island. Is that the general
No, it takes place in
locale?
a building.
Okay.
So a couple of like a squadron of police officers invade a tenement building where a crime lord lives, and things go pear shaped very very quickly.
Okay. All right.
And it's
Pear shaped, just
yeah
like Mayor.
yeah, here we go. Everything comes full circle
Yeah.
if you wait
Yeah.
long enough.
Pear shaped, just like Mayor.
Oh, he's coming along. He's coming along.
Just chugging along. Um,
So, but yeah, I it's been a bit of a slow week for me actually. I was really busy with work, so I don't have a lot of random things to talk about right now.
you're still playing Monster Hunter, I take it, and
Is yeah, is the sky blue? Do babies cry?
yeah. I've been seeing a lot of blurbs about Monster Hunter. I mean, it's really it feels like it's a pretty popular game right now.
Yeah, it really found its audience in particular with Monster Hunter World brought it to a broader audience.
hmm
It had always been pretty successful. I mean, it had a pretty constant um, uh, trajectory towards popularity. With each
hmm
one, they kept selling more units, but I think with Monster Hunter World, it really took it into the big time. Which is interesting because Monster Hunter World um, has been my least favorite of all of the Monster Hunters that I've played since I started playing back in 2011.
hmm
It's not to say I didn't like it, it just wasn't my favorite.
Yeah, and that's the one I have on PlayStation, I think. Is
Yeah,
Monster Hunter World.
yeah. Well, if you ever decide to play it, I will happily jump back in.
Yeah, I know. I'm still stuck on Neo. I'm still playing it. can't put it down. It's probably gonna go down in my personal history of video games as the greatest game I've ever played at this point. I can't stop playing it. It's
That's
too fun.
great. I love it.
So it's very rare to get a game where I keep wanting to go back to the well and keep playing it. But
Mm-hmm.
Neo does it for me, um, which is annoying too because I have a whole backlog of games to play. But like it's that whole thing. Like once you learn how to play a game, you don't want to, and then there's other games to play. You don't necessarily want to stop playing the current game because then your muscle memory goes into a different direction.
Well,
Playing something else,
yeah, it's
right?
especially in these types of high skill games, right?
Yeah,
Where there is muscle memory, there are esoteric rules that you have to learn.
yeah,
Um, and I totally agree with you. And I think that this is a pretty common and maybe even significant problem with games in general. If you think about it this way, like a game has the same rule equivalent in some instances of sports,
yeah,
right? And most sports fans I know, they enjoy watching all sports. But if you really force them to pick, they would have one, maybe two, that they devote all of their energy to, right? Whether it's hockey or basketball or baseball, that's their passion. And that's what they do their entire life.
hmm
And then you've got video games, which are easily as complex as any sports game. But then the expectation is that people will continue to buy more and more fighting games, more and more action games ad infinitum, all with subtly different rule sets, right?
yep,
It's just crazy to me. It's a like the fact that the games industry can sustain itself the way it does is, I think, a testament to how much people want to play video games.
yeah. It. I mean, I definitely enjoy learning the rules of that game's, quote unquote sport or whatever. But then then you get the whole fear of missing out because you're missing out playing some other type of game, for
Sure.
example, Monster Hunter or something like that. But also, I mean, time's a big issue too because you sink so much time into playing one game, and all of a sudden, then you know, I mean, what do you want? Like, what do you want to choose? What do you want to choose to play next? Like, for me, I don't think I'm gonna play another long RPG. Like, to me, RPG is synonymous with time because
Mm-hmm.
you need to have both. You need to have a lot of it to get any satisfaction playing it. So now, my next game, I'm gonna definitely try to steer towards something as a 20-hour game. Probably
Just
to see
something that's a little bit more bite size.
yeah. I don't I can't I don't have the time to like in Neo. I put in a good. I'm probably approaching 400 hours at this point
Oh
playing
wow.
the game, so it's a lot.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I do that with Monster Hunter. I'm at almost 150 with Monster Hunter Rise at this point. So
yeah, um, and it's fun. It's been great, but I mean, the other game I could think of that I did something like that with was maybe StarCraft.
yeah,
StarCraft,
yeah. You played
which is
that
all
a lot.
online matches
Yeah.
now. Yeah, but it's not exactly. It's fun too, but it's a different kind of style of game, I
Mm-hmm.
guess.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of fun, but yeah, just a different approach. Being on an RTS game, I guess. But those days are over. I don't play StarCraft anymore. But
No, moved on, huh?
yeah,
Too old. You don't have the reflexes you once had them.
yeah, I guess not. But although Neo 2 is hard,
Yeah.
I mean, not to toot my own horn, but that game's
Toot
intense
away. Toot away.
for boss fights and stuff. It can get pretty hectic, but you know, whatever. I mean, I think it's more or less. I don't know if age comes into play or not. I mean, I mean, we're at that point where we're gonna have an aging population of gamers, and like,
Mm-hmm.
how is that gonna play into the game industry? I wonder.
Well, I
Um,
think we're already seeing it a little bit with before the pandemic. There was just a rash of games that were all about fatherhood. Um, or
really?
yeah, well, think about it. Last of Us, the God
Uh-huh.
of War 4,
Yeah.
I think the Drake Uncharted 4 also dealt with Drake as a middle-aged man.
Huh.
Um, there was a rash of games about men approaching their middle ages.
Hmm.
And I don't think that you're going to stop seeing that, because the people who are in charge of the games industry now are of that age, and those are the stories that they want to tell, right? They're
Huh.
either fathers whose children are now people, right? They're not infants anymore, and what is that
Yeah.
like? Or they're coming to terms with their own mortality and that kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
Um, and so I think that you're going to see a lot of that. I think you're also going to see, as a result of the pandemic, you're going to see a lot of games that are exploring themes of isolation,
Yeah.
exploring themes of disease, of the nature of power, of things of that nature.
Hmm.
And I think that is going to dominate the conversation for quite a while. But before that, what you were definitely seeing, in my opinion, um, middle-aged men expressing their points of view through the games that they made.
I didn't even think about that. To be honest, I just thought I I I really enjoyed God of War
Mm-hmm.
and Last of Us. But Last of Us came out like the first one came out how many years ago? 6.
It was on PlayStation
It was on PlayStation 4.
4.
Well, was it a tail end PlayStation
N-
3 and PlayStation 4 game?
I don't think so.
It was the first game I got on PlayStation 4, so I know that.
Yeah, I mean, this is how long ago it was. I have no memory of when it came out.
Hmm.
That came out 2013, so a long time ago. Eight
Wow.
years.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So it was a PlayStation 4 game, but it was, yeah, 2013 was a while ago. Um, but well, we have gone on really long.
Oh my
Um,
gosh! Wow, I didn't
yeah, we're almost
see.
10 minutes over. I was just enjoying watching you create Mayor McFlint in front of our very eyes.
Well, what do you think?
I think it's great, and I actually like his more muted color palette, given
Uh-huh.
how crazy a lot of our characters are. Since he is in a position of quote unquote authority, it makes sense that he stands out in how muted he is, as opposed to how, you know what I'm saying? Like his juxtaposition of color to everybody else's serves to differentiate him a little bit.
Hmm.
So I like it a lot.
Cool. Well, we'll consider him another character in our books.
Excellent. Well, so that's good. I think that's great. We've developed I think we found a character trait that I like. I also like the idea that underneath his hat, he's got like a Werther's original or something. So if he takes off his hat, he's always got a piece of candy. Like, it's, I mean, just love the idea that yeah, his bow tie is a fruit by the foot. Just something.
That would be funny.
um I like the idea that this is a character whose addiction is candy to a certain extent, and that I think it's a fun little character trait that came out of just sort of the way the character looks. And I know
Yeah,
we're
it's
already
funny.
over, but I mean, just and I know we've talked about this as well, but I can only do so much in the writing, right? But so much of the character personality and their character traits have their origin in what you do with my writing, how you
Hmm.
interpret it, and then how I in turn interpret what you've interpreted.
Yeah, it's great. It's really fun, and also again, Jay's influences here too
Yeah,
with his
absolutely.
voice
Yeah.
when I was doing this character. So that part was cool too, which is kind of a luxury. Most animators we don't get voice over so
Mm.
soon on certain characters, so it was kind of cool to see, kind of use it. Yeah,
Cool. Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. James, as always, thanks for doing wonderful art as I
yeah,
ramble semi coherently about whatever
yeah,
random
thanks.
thing is on my mind.
Yeah, it was fun.
And as always, we'll see you next Monday, the same time. You can find us at calamityjane.rocks to take you to our Patreon site. You can find us on YouTube and Facebook as well. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Stay safe out there. Good night, all.
Good night.